the money. 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 It's the money, it's the money, it's the money, yeah. It's the money, it's the money, it's the money, yeah. It's the money. Money. It's the money, it's the money, it's the money, yeah. It's the money.
Thank you. What's going? Shalom, everyone. Hit the like button on your way in. Can you hear me now? I see in the comment, Mr. Jefferson say he couldn't hear anything. Can you hear me now, big dog? Hit the like button on your way in. We're gonna talk about these drivers tonight. We're gonna get it in. Got some stuff on my mind. Been wanting to talk about this for a while now, but we finally gonna talk about it. So climb on in, hit the like button on your way in, drop some comments in the comments section. You're a truck driver. If you're truck driving, if you're driving tonight, let me know where you're driving at. Maybe a freight dispatcher, freight broker, something like that. But we're gonna get into it tonight, man, for sure. We're gonna get into it tonight. So I've been doing this trucking thing for about let's say holding a CDL maybe about 21 years, in and out running my own business about 15 years, but I've been in the industry with my father and my grandfather basically all my life. So with that being said, I've seen a lot and I've been around a lot of truck drivers, right? And I've experienced a lot of I've experienced a lot of stories, a lot of different things when it comes down to truck drivers, and it's something. It's definitely something to talk about, you know. And a lot of guys they want to get into the heavy haul industry, trucking period, right? But specifically more the heavy haul industry, right? And they come in this industry and they just believe that it's like any other industry, right? Which is not. Um, Heavy haul truck drivers, heavy haul, owner operators, lease operators, whichever position you hold, uh, they tend to make a lot of money, a lot more money than the average truck driver or owner operator, right? Um, and a lot of what I've been seeing going around, right, is a lot of entitlement, A lot of entitled truck drivers, laziness. Just I'm talking about just pure lazy. You know, just bad work ethic. You know what I mean? Not having any morals. No good principles. Don't really stand for anything. And for example, I had a guy, and I might have talked about this last week. I had a guy, man, it's crazy. He seen an ad I had on Craigslist, right? And locally in the area, I'm in the New Orleans, Slidell area. So I kind of advertise, like in the Mississippi, South Mississippi, South Louisiana area, stuff like that for drivers, right? And he called me. He was working for a company, MN89, right? Some truck drivers might, know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, at MN89, they do um a lease options, I believe. I don't know if they have on our company drivers or not, but they definitely do lease lease options, right? And when the guy called me, he basically begged me for a job, right? He just and I kind of felt like something was funny about that right then and there because he just was going in and going in. And one thing he did that I kind of didn't appreciate was um he was just going so in on the company, right? And I'm a little familiar with the company. I um I've talked with them before, right? I know a little bit about the company. I know one or two of the guys over there, right? Now he was going in on the company. You know what I mean? Just saying, man, I've been here 2 weeks. They haven't paid me, blase this, blase that, right? So I kind of know how companies is. I've actually heard a lot of bad things about this specific company, more than good. So I kind of lean, I kind of was like, well, maybe it's true, whatever, right? So he was just going in, man, this company ain't this, it ain't that. I'm not making no money. I'm out here and I'm driving out there, all this stuff. So we talked, we kind of went back and forth a little bit. He told me he had so much experience, in heavy hauling and in that space. I said, okay. Now, first thing I thought about, well, man, if you got so much experience heavy hauling and tow truck driving and all this stuff, open deck, why you driving dry van, right? So he just was like, man, I just want somebody to give me a chance. I want to get back in the game, blase, blase. All right. Full disclosure, I've done some wild things with companies in my day when I was company drivers as well, right? I didn't have too many company driver positions. I probably only had one company driver position over the road anyway, which was very long time ago. It was a company called CRC. It's a local company down in like Kenner, Louisiana. That was the first and the only company I've ever ran up for a company position over the road. Um, so anyway, but I made some good money. That was years ago. We was getting paid $12.50 an hour, plus overtime. And basically, from the time you start your pre-trip to the time you stop, you get paid, hours. And then you also can if you're on the road, you was getting like a 12-hour minimum, right? So that's when I basically like first got in the game, like maybe my first 2 to 3 years of having my license or something. I can't remember. Long time ago. But anyway, so the guy was like, hey, look, man, I'm gonna bring them their truck back and um turn it in because I don't want no trouble with them and I'm a good guy and I just want to give them their truck back and we're gonna be done, whatever, whatever. So I kind of thought that was pretty cool. I was like, all right, well, they messing over him, but he's still gonna bring their truck back, right? Anyway, make a long story short, we had some issues. This was like 2 weeks in. Like I mean, this was the first 5 days we had an issue, right? And I started to route him home, right? Not home, route him to my area because he lived like 3, 4 hours away. I started to route him to my area, around the yard and just say, hey, look, man, you're fired, right? But I didn't do that because I didn't want him, once again, I come up doing this, right? So I kind of was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that, man. Let me just, Uh, let's see if we can work it out, right? I mean, it got bad. He was very disrespectful. Kind of got into it, and he like called me the N word, and he kind of cursed me out a little bit, kind of, sort of, right? Cursed at me, right? Um, but I still, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do him that. I kind of calmed down. He kind of calmed down. Whatever. Make a long story short, I ended up with a truck that I had to pay another driver to go get, and he stole everything off the truck, all the chains, all the binders, all the straps. He damaged the trailer. He damaged the truck. He took everything out the truck, the inverter, the strobe lights, the navigate. I'm talking about he just wiped it clean, right? So of course, me and my partner had to come up with some more money to get this truck ready to go back on the road, right? And plus pay someone to get the truck and the trailer, all this stuff. Now that was an experience for me, right? And that kind of made me open my eyes, like, wow, drivers are really they're acting a fool out here, right? And I had another kind of situation a little bit with another driver as well. Basically, he kind of we had to let him go, right? Because of some stuff with insurance and stuff like that. Anyway, all that to say this, right? It kind of made me start thinking a little bit. I'm like, wow, you know, they have way more selfish, entitled drivers, disrespectful drivers out here than I actually thought, right? Because I'm always like fighting for the driver, like I advocate for the driver, right? Help the driver level up, right? But what I started noticing is that I don't know if it was like the pandemic that kind of made all this happen, but well, I kind of like brought this about or created so many drivers that's just like um spoiled in a sense or something. I don't know. But when I was coming up, you had to pay so much money to just get your license. Nobody want to really share the game with you. If you didn't have experience and if you were young, you couldn't get on insurance. If you didn't have experience, they was not hiring you at all. Like that wasn't a thing, right? Now you can like bounce around, get a little bit of experience, and they'll hire you like that. Especially if you go to the companies in Chicago, like they just you get on real fast. Anyway, so specifically the heavy hauling, right? What are we talking about tonight? Why heavy haul drivers won't make it in 2025? Like they're gonna have a lot of heavy haul drivers or drivers that want to be heavy haul, be in the heavy haul space, and they just won't make it. Like they will not make it. They're probably gonna jump in, and when they jump in this space, um, they're gonna fail, right? And we're gonna go over a couple of these things tonight, right? Once again, on your way in, hit the like button. If you're on Instagram, I guess hit the like button over there. I don't really know exactly how that goes with streaming Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, do the same thing, right? Uh, and drop a comment in the chat as well. Let's get the engagement up, you know. But let's go over one thing. One thing that I believe one of the biggest things when it comes down to uh in the heavy haul space, right? Specifically, just is there's a big gap with skills, right? And like drivers that actually even want to learn the skill, right? Um, putting in that hard work to actually become who and what they need to become to be a good heavy haul driver or uh on operator in the heavy haul space. And this is principles that it doesn't matter if you're driving tankers, driving, reef or whatever. It can all work in the same work the same way, right? Because it's just principles, right? Work the same. Now, what I've noticed is a lot of drivers, whether it's a company driver or a owner operator or a lease driver, right? They don't really have the skills that they say they do. And if they don't, they're not humble about it, right? Um, they come in the door, and this is I've experienced this myself. Like I've experienced this with drivers, right? And and understand why I'm kind of going in on this tonight, because not so much of nothing against my fellow drivers at all, because I am one as well for the time being, and I come up in this. But I think that there's a lot of drivers kind of messing up the industry a little bit, right? And so that's why I want to talk about it, right? Once again, jump in the chat and let me know what you think about it, right? But I've experienced drivers that, whether they work for me or work with me or just talking with drivers or whatever, and they're like, hey, I want to get paid this, which is kind of like top tier pay. But at the same time, they don't have top tier skills, right? They kind of look at what the industry is paying, is offering, and it's like, hey, I want that. And it's like, well, can you give me what a top driver should give me? Will it match the pay, right? You know, because more so in the heavy haul space, like my brother E says, which he's a part of my team, you get paid more so from the neck up. You get paid more for like thinking, right? Problem solving, right? Um, Not just driving the truck. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say anyone can just drive a truck, but most people that go get their license can drive a truck, right? But can you problem solve, right? Um, you know, do you have a good attitude, right? Do you have good skills? Do you offer more excuses than like execution? You get what I'm saying? Um, and I see a lot of guys, right, that they don't really have the skills, and that's okay in a sense. Um, but be willing to learn the skills. You get what I'm saying? Um, don't like I heard a lot of like hey, that's not in my job scope, or that's not part of my job. Man, listen, I worked in the oil field for a couple years, right? Good bit of time, right? And I learned a lot. Learned a lot in the oil field, right? Uh, you might have to, you was not just a truck driver, all right? You was a lot of different things, okay? Truck driver, job supervisor. If you go out on the rig, you had to cook, or even if you was, on location or whatever, like you had to do a lot of different things. You had to learn a lot of different skills. You get what I'm saying? Like, um, you know, you have to learn a lot of different things. And one day you driving a tanker, one day you driving, fuel truck, one day you driving a flatbed, one day not flatbed, most a step deck, or you know, all kind of different things, right? And you have to learn, you have to be a driver, you have to drive these different trucks, and then you have to go location, be a labor, you have to mess with nitrogen, you have to do a lot of different things. And that taught me something, right? And I learned a lot of skills from being working in the oil field, like seriously, a lot of valuable skills, right? You have to learn how to communicate, right? Because even though you might have was just a driver, you might find yourself communicating with the salesperson or the job supervisor, or like what they call the company man, and you had to communicate problems and problem solve and figure out problems. And that whole thing of that's not part of my job scope, or that's not what I do, or whatever, that wasn't a thing, right? You would find yourself sitting at home and not going on the job because you got paid day rate. And if you was one of those guys, if they even thought you was one of those guys, guess what? you you wasn't getting called for a job. When a job pop up, they wasn't looking for you. You know what I mean? So it's just funny to me how today, a lot of guys they want to get into heavy hauling, they want to get in this open deck space, but yet a lot of them are lazy. I'm talking about lazy, like lazy. You get what I'm saying? The first thing that and they'll be new. These are like new drivers. They're not like drivers that been in the space, for some years, kind of earn their way and they know how to like make money without doing certain things. One of the first things I hear in the open deck space and from a new driver is um I don't talk. What? What you mean, man? You in open deck freight, man. You in open deck freight. You don't talk? What are you saying? That's like saying, "Oh, you're a drive-in driver and like but I don't sweep out the back of the drive-in. I don't do that. I don't use low locks. I don't come on, man. That's part of your job, man. Let me go to these comments. Let's go to these comments. Let's see what we got. Khalil Jefferson says knowledge plays a big part in the game. It does. Pitt Freight Company says, Marco, we are wrapping up to become a indirect air carrier by the TSA. This allows me, the owner, to become a security coordinator and issue TSA search to drivers. What are your thoughts? I don't know, man. It's a little if that goes along with your business model, I think that's great. Now, when you say to become a security coordinator and issue TSA search, that's a little out of my scope. I don't know how that would work with like insurance and like liability wise and stuff like that. That might be a little bit too much liability for me. I'm actually kind of you know, gearing my business. I don't want to say too much on YouTube, but kind of moving away from a lot of liability, right? Like this year will probably be. I really believe I know that it's gonna be the last year. Like I'm after this year, I'm gonna be done with the company driver model just because I just don't want that liability anymore. Um, Moving forward, with focusing more on like a lease driver uh deal, right? And yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that, but yeah, that right here with the issuing out the TSA search, I don't know exactly how it go. I'm just assuming. So, take that into consideration. But I'm assuming that's gonna you're gonna have to take on some type of liability with that. I don't know, unless you're just um like certifying people by way of your knowledge or whatever like that. Let's see what you got. Yes, sir. I need this for my niche, aviation and aerospace freight. I can offer quick, expedited service to my customers using airlines to move freight as well. Got you. Yeah, man. Every time you come on, you talk about this. This is definitely, I believe that that's a real good niche and should make a lot of money in that. Man, I was waiting on you to reach out to me too, man. We got to talk. Let me put this on the screen once again. Hit me up, bro. Hit me up. Hit me up. 985-326-1699. Shoot me a text. Let's talk. Let's see if we can set something up, man. I'm interested in that. For real. That's some good money. I used to haul like engines and stuff like that and some freight, you know, um for the aerospace and airports and stuff like that. So yeah, hit me up. Hit me up. But anyway, so yeah. So back to the conversation, right? Um, man, just a lack of integrity. You know what I mean? Man, I know some drivers, man. I've been through some situation where they will just lie a lot. Just lie a lot, and it's like, hey, you got an ETA on on delivery, and they will text and say, yeah, an hour out. Now you look at them on the ELD or you look at them on the tracking device and they're like 3 hours out, right? Or I had a guy that he hit something a couple times. One of the times he hit something, or two of the times he didn't say anything. Instead of just hit me up, hey, look, bro, I hit this at the job site or whatever like that. My bad. Let me know what we need to do about it, right? It's like, all right, cool, no worries. We'll just deal with it. But I get an email with some pictures saying, hey, your driver did this, did that. This is how much it's gonna cost, blah, 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 blah. Now, how does that look for me? Excuse me. Looks real bad for me, right? Because we all representing each other, right? Now, my guy, my truck is on location and hit something, tow up something, and I'm unaware. And the first thing I want to do is I want, not want to do like I did was said, well, how do you know he hit something? Right? Because I'm gonna go to bat for my driver, right? For my team, right? So I call him and say, hey man, look, these people saying you hit something, man. What's up? But I'm just saying that, asking him like not like checking him or questioning him. It's just like, hey, let me know what's up so I know how to deal with these people. Because guess what? If he would have said, man, I didn't hit anything, I would have, all right, cool, I got it right from here. But of course, he was honest. He told me, hey man, I hit something, man. I think I did or whatever like that. So yeah, but heavy hauling specifically is different from a lot of different things, right? It's not like everything else. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta read these permits. You gotta basically study these permits. You know what I'm saying? It's telling you to go a certain route for a certain reason. If you're, 15 tall, you know what I mean? It's telling you to go a certain route so you won't hit a bridge. So like a low bridge. If you're a certain width, it's telling you to go a certain route so you don't, come up on construction that's down the one lane that might be, 12 foot wide, but like you're 14 wide or whatever it is, right? But you know, it's like a lot of guys just want to get paid and just kind of like drive a truck. They don't want to level up, right? To get the big bucks because real talk, we make big money, man. Like we don't, we make some really good money. Like we don't make a little bit of money and we don't really run a lot of miles. It's not like driving and stuff, flatbed, and when I say flatbed, like regular standard loads, that's not really what's going on. We running um probably half the miles and getting double, triple the pay sometimes, right? Um, or more, right? So, well, why is that? Why is that? Why, if you're in a heavy haul space, you're able to run less the miles but get double, triple, sometimes four times the pay? Well, or more, right? Well, because it's a different niche and it's a lot more required from you, a lot more knowledge, right? Um, like I said earlier, problem solving. You get what I'm saying? Um, and being dedicated, like actually saying, hey, you know what? Um, we're gonna do whatever it takes to get this job done. For example, right? I talk about him a lot. I've had him on the channel a couple times. He's part of my team. He's driving right now the 7-axle stretch setup, right? That's what he's running right now, right? He's been with me off and on for about 10, 12 years now, right? So we went through some ups and downs, but we learned each other. And he's basically like family, you know what I mean? Real talk. And he had a load the other day, right? And I think it was like 70,000 pounds, uh, 11 wide or something. And it was total like 14.3 tall or something like that. And they had to go downtown New Orleans on St. Charles or Magazine Street. It was going to the school. Was it Tulane or Loyola? One of them schools down there. I can't remember exactly which one it was, right? And It was so much they had to do to get this load unloaded. They had to check the height, and then it was like, oh, the trees is gonna hit the trees. Oh, they need to take this off the load. Oh man, you got to make the turns. Oh, but we got curfew, and it was crazy. Like, it was a lot of stuff that was going on. Anybody that's ever been downtown New Orleans, they got these big oak trees, right? And if you hit one of them, you're kind of gonna go to jail, and you're gonna be faced with a big fine. Like, you will not. They don't want you damaging those trees, right? Some historical deal or whatever, right? Then you got the New Orleans curfew, like a city curfew for permanent loads, especially if they're over a certain height and width and all this type of stuff. So they wanted him to go downtown at night and basically look at the route, right? Guess what? He did it. He didn't say, no, I'm not doing that. That's not part of my job and blah, 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 right? He did it. It was a situation where he couldn't even get in, not because he didn't have the skills, but the truck was too long. The truck and the trailer was just too long. He couldn't back it in, right? Because it was a sleeper. Boom. Got another driver. The other driver said, hey man, I don't mind, good driver, right? Hook up to my day cab, I'll back it in, right? Done that. What else? Had to figure out how to deal with that curfew. Not gonna tell y'all how we dealt with that or how he dealt with that, but he dealt with that, right? And he dealt with that, and he got the load delivered. You get what I'm saying? Now, the average driver wouldn't have done that. You get what I'm saying? So, now the brokers was blowing a lot of smoke, like, oh man, you agree for that. Oh, and let me remind you, he done all that the day before, the night before, and he was there 6:30 on location, 7 a.m., I believe. And he didn't get unloaded to almost 1 o'clock, which messed him up on his next load because he had a tall load going to Texas, right? Which they flipped it on his side and made it 15 wide. So that was fun for him as well. Now that basically like kind of messed him up, right? But I told him, man, look, bro, don't worry about it. The Most High gonna bless us, and we're good. So he was chill about it, and it was all good. Now the broker was saying like, oh man, telling him, hey, you're the best truck driver, this and that. We appreciate everything, blah 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 blah. And I said, well, we're gonna see if they're gonna talk with their pockets. They're gonna pay that money. They're gonna talk with green. Next day, I sent them an email with the BOL stating what happened and all this type of stuff. Guess what they responded with? Broker said, I call the owner of the company, right? Big time company. I'm not gonna drop the name. Big time company. This ain't no little company, this is a big time company with a lot of money, making a lot of money. And he basically hurriedly hung up the phone. He said, oh, you got to talk to a dispatcher. Bam. Now, this same guy, the owner, was talking to E, telling him all this great stuff. When I called him the next day saying, hey, and all I requested was detention time. That was it. Wasn't asking for much. I said, hey, I think I told him, hey, man, can you add another $300-$400 to the rate con for detention, right? For my guy, right? And he basically hung up on me. Then I got in touch with the dispatcher who they said I needed to get in touch with. Now, this was the owner now. Guess what? Guess what he did? Didn't answer. He was texting me. They both said, hey, per paragraph 3 on our carrier agreement, we don't pay detention. Wow. I said, you know what, man? All good. It's all good. I said, man, my driver went over and beyond for you guys, right? Got that load unloaded. We could have like shut down everything and, made y'all figure it out, but we didn't. He got it done. We was on the phone till like 10 o'clock at night discussing how he was going to get this load delivered. He did it, right? He done everything that he could do in his power, right, to get it done. He didn't say, that's not part of my job. I don't have to do that, because he didn't have to do that, but he did. Now, the broker didn't pay. All good. I rewarded him, right, because we're a team, and he made everybody look good. He made himself look good, and we appreciated that. So he got a reward for that, right? Definitely a good one at that. Uh, because we're a team. It's all good. We're gonna have to pay. Whatever. Don't even trip, right? Now, let's see. He wouldn't have done that. Let's see. He would have took the other approach of like, that's not my job. I don't have to do that. Um, I don't have to do that. And he basically like, I don't care or whatever. I'm the driver. I'm dealing with my truck, my trailer, and my load. And that's it. Let's say if he would have took that approach, which he could have took that approach, right? Would that have been the most profitable approach for him? I don't really think so. Probably because he would have sat there longer. It would have created a bunch of chaos. Um, and he probably wouldn't even got unloaded that day. And if he did, it would have probably been like, instead of like 1 o'clock, 3 to 5 p.m. or something like that, right? But yeah, so it just amazes me how today in this industry, man, a lot of drivers are so, in my words, so entitled. And it's like, hey, I'm a truck driver, I got my license, pay me the big bucks, give me the best lease purchase deal, give me the best equipment, you know, uh, 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 and all these different things, which is crazy. But let me go to the comments. Let me go to the comments. Saying hype. I hope I said that right. Hard to get dedicated driver. Most just change from uh I guess he's saying job to job. I agree. Hard to get dedicated drivers in this industry. I agree. Tiffany Perkins said, Miss Perkins says, proactive problem solving is a winning formula for everyone involved. Money is waiting on the other side of that problem. 100, 100%. Um, that's that. Let's go into that a little bit. It's a little crazy how, man, when I see problems, I see leverage. Seriously, I see leverage. That's when I see a shipper or a broker or whoever I'm, whoever I serve, I see leverage, right? Not in a bad way, but I see leverage and I see dollar signs because you need this problem solved. You need help with this issue that you have, right? This problem that you have, right? And when I say I see money, not like, oh, you're gonna more in a way of like, I first think about, I'm definitely gonna solve this problem. Or how can I solve this problem for you, right? And if I know how to solve it, then I think I get excited of, man, I'm gonna solve this problem for them. I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna be so great. I might even kind of, depending on how, what the problem is of how I'm doing this, I might even give them a little, a little bit for free in the beginning or whatever, to draw them in and to what they really appreciate it. And then I'm gonna solve this problem for them. And I kind of almost can put any price I want on it with being fair though, right? Being fair. For example, that same broker on that load that I'm talking about that didn't want to pay my guy E, uh the first thing he said when we was booking the load, he was like, "Oh man, it's paying $8 a mile." I said, "And so what? Who who is who says that we're running lows by the mile anyway? We're in specialized freight. Me personally, I care nothing about the mile. I don't look at loads by the mile, right? You know, that's how I do it, right? Now, you know, I get it. Some people do. I don't really look at it like that, right? I look at the entire job. I need to know everything that's going into this load, right? What's the dimensions of it? What times it pick up? What times it deliver? Is it a crane? appointment? Is it not? You know, how much does it weigh? How much work my driver's gonna have to do? Or if I'm driving it myself, whatever. Like a lot of different things. I need to know all of this before I even give you a price. This is not a by the mile situation, by the mile thing. And so I asked him, I said, well, okay, what's what's the standard then? He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you're telling me that oh, it's $8 a mile. Okay, what's the general? What's the standard? What's what's the standard? What's the base model of like by the mile?" And he kind of couldn't come up with a number, right? And so now that $8 a mile that he paid, would you pay more than that because I got some more money, a couple $100 more. Um, Now we had to divide that. So if it was so-called $8 or $10 a mile or whatever, well, what about all of the wait time that he had to wait? What about all the experience that he had to put into this load to get it delivered, right? What about all of the work that he did the night before? All these things, right? What about all that? Now, how does it tie into the topic tonight? Well, he got paid and made the money that he made and also got the extra reward because he wasn't lazy, right? He didn't complain, right? He had integrity. He was, he was thinking about the reputation of the company. He was thinking about his reputation, right, of himself, and he wanted to solve the problem that the customer had. Period, right? And a lot of guys that's gonna get in this industry in 2025, they're not gonna do that. And by they're not gonna do that, guess what? They're gonna fail. Like, period. They're gonna fail. There was a time where I had a little attitude problem, years ago when I was younger, my younger self, right? I kind of always liked to work in general, just period. I just love to work, love to get it in, always was a hustler, always loved the grind. That was just always my thing. So my work ethic was always like good, but I used to have like an attitude problem. And with that attitude problem that I had, um, sometimes I will play the game to where, I felt like my boss or whoever was over me or whatever it was at that time, um, they were basically like getting over on me or they didn't give me the money that I deserved or they was basically playing on me, right? And so I would do certain things to kind of like get back at them, right? So it was like, oh, I know I can do this job better, but I won't. I won't do it, right? Um, or I know I can show up on time, but I know if I don't show up on time, not said that I would do it on purpose, but I wouldn't put so much effort to showing up on time, on location, or whatever to the job or getting it done like I need to get it done because I just didn't care, right? Because I was distracted by my so-called boss or whoever was at the top of the food chain at the time, right? So, and those things hurted me, right? I was, it seemed like, oh, I was hurting them, but I was hurting myself. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're trying to get into heavy hauling in 2025, or you're already in the game, maybe you're driving, you're looking to step up and be an owner operator, or maybe you're already an owner operator and you're looking to get into heavy haul or whatever like that. Man, listen, be totally done with the excuses. Totally done with the excuses, and just go straight into execution. No excuses, execution, right? Execution over excuses. Like, stop giving, these excuses about, like you're over the road truck driver, you're over the road or regional or whatever, and your schedule is 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks, 5 weeks out, whatever it is, whatever you signed up for, go do your time, man. Go hit the road. Don't complain. Don't be, I gotta go home. I gotta do this. I got this. I gotta do that. Go to work. Do whatever it is you gotta do. Build yourself up until you get to whatever level that you're working on to be able to work home, work local or be home more, whether it's that getting another job or becoming an operator or making more money to where you don't have to run as much, however that might look for you, right? um you know, adapt. Another thing, adapt with the change, adapt with what's going on, right? How the market is going, like shift with the market, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, for example, the market is getting harder and harder, right? Steering wheel holders, that ain't it no more. That is not. I know a lot of you guys, might have just started out after the pandemic and at the top at the of the market where they was just paying so much money to drivers. That is slowly, it's speeding up, actually going down more than ever. Like that ain't the game no more. That ain't it. This is how when this guy said earlier, let me see if I can pull that up. When this guy said this company, M89 in Chicago, is a scam company. Well, these companies, I'm not going to say they came about at the time because this company is a fairly older company, but a lot of these companies, they came up with these deals. They got stuck in a bad deal because they invested at the top, at the height. So now they got these high trucks, these high trailers, and they got so much overhead and so much, this. And now this is after the pandemic, and now they gotta like switch the game up, right? And kind of change their business model. Well, guess what? You as a driver, as an owner operator, freight dispatcher, whatever, you got to switch the game up, right? Like for real. Like you got to switch the game. You got to switch your business model up too, and understand that the game ain't the same. You got to adapt. You have to adjust, right? Let's say, you don't have the skills, right? Maybe you got some skills. Maybe you have enough to get in the door, right? Well, appreciate a company that will hire you, that will actually allow you to learn on the job, because they don't have to do that, right? I've done a lot of that in my time, and some people appreciate it, some people don't. No big deal to me because I'm gonna get my blessings anyway, right? Most High see what I'm doing, he gonna bless me anyway, so I'm good. Like I don't really, I've been in this game so long, I don't really get emotional behind this stuff too much anymore. I used to years ago. I got a bunch of stories I can tell, like a lot, drivers stealing fuel, or they want to keep the truck and I got to go knock on the door to get my truck back, all this stuff. Anyway, let's say you don't have the skills. Let's say you might know flatbed, but you don't know heavy haul, right? Are you willing to take a pay cut to jump in the heavy haul side, to start heavy hauling, right? Um, are you willing to, do whatever it takes to develop these skills while you're on the job, right? Or you kind of, are you willing to drive for like an owner operator, right? Because most owner operators, they need drivers, and they need, they're willing to kind of show you more than kind of like a big company, in my opinion, right? Because their cash flow is just it's a little less, or maybe a lot less than a big company. So they're a little bit more lenient on what type of drivers they're hiring and stuff like that, right? Especially with insurance, stuff like that, right? Um, are you willing to, basically make a good deal with like an owner operator, and like let him know, hey, look, I'll do this, this, and this, right? I'll run a truck as long as you want. I'll run whatever loads. I'll, do whatever you ask me to do. As long as it's not nothing crazy. If you can teach me, if I can learn from you, right? Um, that's a deal that I would make. You know what I mean? Some people, they go into deals and all they're looking at is, what can I get out the deal? How much money I can make? How, what can I get? What's in it for me? Me? I don't make deals like that. And that's why I believe I always got a good deals come my way. The first thing I think about is what's beneficial for the person that I'm making a deal with. First, that's the first thing I think about. Let's say that again. What is beneficial for the person that I'm about to make a deal with? Seriously, like how can I make them what they call a irresistible offer? Something they cannot resist. Like they it's gonna make them when I come at them with this offer. Hey, here, this is what I can offer you. This is what I got for you. They cannot say no. They can't say no. Well, if I can make them an offer like that, guess what? It's good as gold. It's gonna go through. Like it's gonna go through. I do this right now in my business. This is how I got hooked up with my partner that I have now, right? I came in the door. I didn't, I'm coming off of bankruptcy, man. I'm talking about like I needed to get back in the game. I mean, I was in the game making, money, but I'm like, look, I need to get back where I was at. And not only that, my goal was to 10x that. Still is. My goal is a little higher now, but it's like, okay, I'm not gonna come in throwing my weight around, I got this much experience. I can do this, I can do that, which I can, right? I've been in this game a long time and I've done a lot and I know a lot. But guess what? If I did bring that to him, when I got connected to him, guess what? I brought it to him in a way of like, hey, look, this is what I can do. This is how I can help you. This is what I can do for you. This is how much money I can make you. I have this skill, that skill. I've been doing it this long, that long. Blah, 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 blah. I'm learning this. I'm studying this. Blah, 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 boom. Whatever, whatever. Right? It was so much of a deal for him. He asked me one day, I'm gonna say this. Basically, he kind of was like, it's kind of too good to be true. Why you don't do XYZ? That was a conversation we had. And I responded to it and was like, nah, it's all good, blah, 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 blah. Basically, we're gonna work together. And he was like, okay, cool. That's how good the deal was, like for him, right? And I don't worry about that's another thing. That's another thing. Let's go into this. That's another thing. Man, so many people. This is big. This is big. And if people can just get off of this, they always worrying about how much money the other person getting off the deal versus how much they getting. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what they getting in the sense of when I say don't worry about what they're getting, meaning if you're gonna worry about what they're getting, worry about what they're getting as far as like what you're gonna help them get. Not, oh well, they're gonna make $1,000 and I only made 500. So what? Like you don't do what they do. That's not your position. You get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm gonna lease onto this company and they're gonna make whatever percent off of me. So what? Is it a deal for you? Is it a deal for you? Oh, I'm gonna go drive this guy's truck. And when I go drive his truck, he's gonna clear $3,000 a week. I'm only gonna clear $1,000 a week. So what? Like, so what? Right? Don't worry about what's in their pockets. Stop counting their pockets. Like, stop counting their pockets, man. Do what you do. Worry about how much money. First of all, you shouldn't be worrying about anything anyway, right? Don't worry, right? Like it is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So that's first thing. Second thing is this: don't be it's like the Bible talks about covetousness. I think I said it right. Like, don't covet. Like, don't be listen, man. Get out of people business. Get out their business. Get out their pockets. Stop worrying about how much they make versus what you're gonna make. right? Help them make money, right? Then maybe the Most High bless you and give you some money because you're like blessing another person, right? You're helping another person be prosperous and uh uh in their business, right? And then maybe they'll help you in your business. You get what I'm saying? I hope this is connecting with some of you. You know what I mean? Like I really do. Because this is for the people that really want to thrive in 2025, specifically in a heavy house space, right? And this can, be in any business. But you know, um, another thing is the mindset, which is the first thing to even do any, of this other stuff. But you have to have a prosperous mindset from jump. If you feel like or you think that there's no money out there, well, there's no money out there for you. I don't think like that. I don't even let stuff like that creep up in my mind. I don't, man, listen, you can't tell me they don't have trillions of dollars in the trucking industry. If you say they don't, I'm gonna say you're lying. I don't believe you. Like nope, because I want my fair share. And if I got it in my mind that it's not even out there, then I will never take action and go and get something. Think about that. How you gonna even take action on starting your journey or just taking action on doing the work that you need to do to go get this money that you already told yourself in your mind that don't even exist. Think about that for a second. You already told yourself what is doesn't exist. The industry's bad. Brokers are bad. These companies are horrible. Trucks always breaking. You know, Trump's the president or whatever. You know, maybe you was a Trump guy and Kamala's gonna be the president or whatever, right? The industry is just messed up. Well, how are you gonna it don't make sense. You're not even gonna start your journey. You're not even your energy level is so low. You're not even gonna start. You're not even gonna like start pursuing. You're not gonna pursue something that in your mind you already told yourself don't even exist. You already made a decision in your mind mentally, right? You're not gonna get up early. You're not gonna read any books. You're not gonna get your energy right. You're not gonna go buy that truck. You're not gonna start, you know, making calls, cold calling as a broker, as a freight dispatch. You're not going to create content so you can get you some clients to dispatch, so you can be a dispatcher for them, right? You're not going to apply for that job, right? You're not going to go look to be leased on somewhere because you already told yourself in your mind it ain't going to work. It's not going to work, right? You've looked at the Facebook, you looked at the YouTube, of all the negativity that's out there. And you've already told yourself, man, there's no money in this industry. It's not gonna work. Um, you know, I can't learn these new skills. You know what I'm saying? This is not gonna work, you know. If this is connecting with you guys, man, let me know in the comments, man. Once again, hit the like button on your way in, comment, and share the live stream with someone that you believe this can help. Because I really don't want to see my people, man, fail in this industry because I've seen so many people come in and they go right out. I'm talking about right out. Just in the last year from today, let's just say 2024 and 2025, I personally know some people that got in the game or got back in the game and they're done. Like they're out. They're back doing whatever it is they was doing, or they back doing something else, or whatever, like that, right? Um, man, you don't want to be one of those people. Like you do not want to be one of those people. You want to get in the game, you want to put in work, and you want to do what you got to do. All right. Listen, If you need some help or you want to join a community of like-minded people, um, I'll leave the link in the description below. If it's not, let me see if I can put it in the comments. And I'm going to, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. I will answer those questions as well. But let me see if I can put this link in the chat. Once again, if you got any questions, put them in the chat. I'll get to it and I'll answer them. All right. I'm going to put the link to the free school. All right. I think that I pinned it to the top, I believe. Hit the link, join the school community. Excuse me. I do have another group that I'm creating. If you want to hear more about that, jump into the free group and you will learn about that as well. That I'm launching. The only way that you can get to the other group, which I have that I'm putting training courses. We have a live Q&A every week. We have something called Pocket Coaching, which is basically going to be on WhatsApp. Well, we can talk all day, every day, as long as I'm up. And you can ask questions right from the phone, and I'll get to you and help you out, stuff like that. So definitely take advantage of that. Right now, it's for a very low price, very low price. Go check it out. Go into the free group. When you join, you will actually see everything explaining in there, and jump into the paid group and see if we can help you out. All right. Trucker's Truck says, off topic, but I need help finding a good brokerage. I am looking to broker some free. You're looking to work for a brokerage, like be a dispatcher or a sales person for a brokerage, or you have freight already that you're actually trying to move. Let's get some clarification on that if you can. I'll wait for you on that. You can answer that. Please do so. Ms. Perkins says, Tony Robbins says, it's not good enough to be good. You have to be great. That gives you leverage. Leverage, man. Leverage. And not like, in a bad way. Once again, not in a bad way. But I mean, when you're good, and you do your thing, man, you got some leverage. A lot of leverage, right? Because they need you. And if they need you, they gotta pay you. They gotta pay you. They they have to pay you. They don't have a choice, right? This is why I moved from regular freight to specialized freight. Okay? Because in specialized freight, you have more leverage. You're not just regular, you're not just putting a dry van up the road. Nothing against, dry van freight, nothing like that, because I did it. And that's why I was in like doing it with hazmat and tankers and stuff like that. More specialized. You have more leverage. This is why I got into the heavy haul space, to have more leverage. When I book a load or I'm talking to brokers or direct shippers or whatever it is, who I'm talking to, guess what? I have more leverage because can't know anybody just pull up with a truck and a trailer and pull this load. They're going to need specific trucks and trailers and knowledge to hook up to this load and pull it. Period. All right. Trucker's Truck said work, sales, and operations. Okay. So basically you're looking to work for a brokerage. Text me. Might have something for you. We actually have a brokerage as well. We actually have one. Text me 985-326-1020. 1699. 985-326-1699. Let me say this. The average brokerage, just like trucking, a trucking company, if you're gonna go drive for a trucking company, they want you to have some type of experience. So the average brokerage is gonna want you to have either a certain amount of experience or a book, what they call a book of business, meaning you already have clients already ready to go. Most of the time, if you're gonna hire on to a brokerage that is going to get you in and you don't have either one, some type of background in logistics or trucking or connections with shippers or anything like that, you probably would have to start off as like a dispatcher, kind of, just dealing with the logistical part a little bit, doing check-ins and stuff like that, getting paperwork to drivers, doing check calls, stuff like that. Most brokerages are not gonna really um hire you without any of that, unless, let's go to the leverage part, unless they are a new brokerage and this is how I would approach it, right? I've done this in my dispatch business. I actually, when I first started, um, I wanted to get into the heavy haul space and giving straight game on exactly what I did. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know it at the level of what I wanted to know it, right? So, and also I wanted to create proof. I wanted proof to where I can uh get content and show proof that I know what I'm doing. So when I reach out or people reach out to me for me to dispatch them or they sign up with my logistics company, I had proof, because proof beats anything. When you can say, hey, I did this, 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 and this is my proof, that's done. That's your resume, right? So basically, my online presence is my resume. That makes sense. So what I did was I told a guy, hey, I work for free. Right. And this was after being in this space for years. Like, I wasn't new to this, but I wanted that proof. I wanted to record it. I wanted to get that proof to show people, because I've done all of this stuff, but nobody knows. Nobody really knew, right? Because I'm new to this social media space and this YouTube, and my channel just got started. If you go back and look at my old videos compared to now, much different. And I wanted proof to show, which was a little bit of leverage for me, because when I get on a sales call and they're like, hey, can you dispatch me, blah, 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 blah. I'm on a Zoom and I'm sharing my screen. I'm like, hey, these are the loads I booked. This is what I know. This is how long I've been doing this. Da, da, da. And I actually have proof. I'm not just kind of like talking about it. I'm showing them clips and pictures of loads, and then they watching my YouTube channel. So now they seeing the videos, whatever. Proof, right? Now, that's what I would do. If you don't, because I don't know if you have the experience or anything like that, but if you want to work for a brokerage, and you don't have the experience or you don't have the book of business, I would make some type of deal to work for free, right? And I know that's probably sounding like, what? Yes, for free. Why? You're actually like, they're training you for free. Think about that. They're actually training you for free when you usually would have to pay someone to get trained. And what's better than on the job training? Right? Like, you're not looking at some videos, and I have a coaching program. Like, I have, videos you can watch and whatever. But like, what's better than actually being on the job and learning? And you don't have to pay to go to no school. You don't have to pay for online. Like, you're gonna get it for free, and you actually have the potential to make some money. And when I say for free, meaning I probably, because this is a sales position, So I probably would say, hey, can I work for you for this amount of commission? I will put it really low. And the only way I make money is if I basically move some freight, but I would say only if I move this amount of freight and not like volume, but like in money, right? Like when I reach my first $10,000 in freight, then you can start paying me whatever percent, right? But once again, text me. I might have something for you with our company. Just text me 985-326-1699. 985-326-1699. All right. But that's what I would do. I hope that's some good advice for you. Pit Freight Company says you are 100% with the leverage. In aerospace with LG, it's an open checkbook. I determine the expedited price with the airlines. Yeah, man. Yeah. Trucker's Truck says I have to book a call with I would text you. Thank you. Yeah, cool, man. And look, this call particular would be about coming on to the brokerage. Because you say book a call. So yeah, just hit me up specifically about that. As far as my consultations, that's an hourly rate. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, so with that being said, we got us a good hour and 12 minutes in. It was a good stream. We didn't get too many people show up tonight, which is all good. It's all good. I don't do this for the numbers or whatever. If I can reach one person and give them the game and just help one person, that's good enough for me. I am great. I don't I'm not monetized and I'm not looking for all that when it comes to YouTube as far as today. But anyway, I make money with my trucks, and that's that. So, with that being said, like the video, comment on it. If you're looking for some type of help or anything like that, join the school community. And that'll be all for tonight. I will holler at y'all. I'm thinking about swapping it from Sunday to Friday, doing more like a freestyle type of deal. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. But I will I will see and will definitely let y'all know. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking about doing like a freestyle Friday type of deal. Let me know what y'all think when it comes down to that like a Friday versus a like a Sunday, right? Sunday is more of a freer time for myself, but I'm thinking about doing like a freestyle Friday, stuff like that. I am back in the truck because I'm looking to run up some cash because I need to make an investment and do some things, whatever like that, and making some changes in the business. Anyway, with that being said, definitely y'all have a great night and the rest of y'all weekend. We'll see y'all next week, whether it's Friday or Sunday. All right, peace.